Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tipped Balls Podcast. I am your host, Sam Randazzo, and I am joined by my two rather exuberant co-hosts. To my right, it is the one, the only, the Uncle Sam.
Happy New Year.
And to my left, it is none other than our very own Mr. Zolo, Mike Palazzolo.
Blessed. You gotta mute that shit.
Gotta mute it.
You gotta mute it.
And behind the computer, yanking his own chain, as always, it's Bruce, the tugboat. Venditti.
How you doing?
Welcome. And there is indeed quite a few of you today. Thank you guys for coming. We're very happy everyone is here. But we're going to start out today's show just like it's any other day. So
We are a football podcast for those that don't know.
yes, exactly. Which is why we did our Lions ticket giveaway. And there's going to be a little surprise that comes along with the Lions ticket giveaway. So stick around. We're going to get to it, but we're going to start out just like it's any other day. So I must ask, Uncle Sam, how was your day? How was your week?
It's been okay.
High points?
I do have one bad thing today. I was trying to cut some counter and somebody was singing in my fucking good ear today.
And who was that?
That idiot sitting across from you.
What was he singing?
I said
Anything good?
4 words to like a song, and he yelled at me.
What did I say exactly?
Get the fuck away from me.
Was it Guns
I
N'
have to listen to
Roses?
that song every day. Get the fuck away from me.
Was it any lyric from Appetite from Destruction?
No.
Yeah, you were fucked from the moment you started singing.
Yeah, you're right.
Zolo, how was your day? How was your week? High points, low points, pits, peaks.
Week is starting to slow down, but I've been riding Lions fever all week. It's got me through the week, and we got one day left. I didn't like the roads today. Roads were shit. It is
Awful
what it
this
is.
morning. Awful.
It is what it is. But roads are clear now. I don't think there's any more snow in the forecast, right? Just some cold.
A little bit tomorrow morning. They're saying just a quick dusting. Quick dusting. Just to
It'll
mess
be
everything up.
You're on the plane, so
I'm gonna relax.
Better.
I'm gonna relax.
That is true.
But yeah, I'm ready for this week to end. One more work day, and then we got a weekend of football and another big day on Sunday. You're going somewhere this weekend?
I am. I do. Today's the last day of my week. I'm headed south tomorrow.
So you're not even going to be in town for the game?
No, I'm not, which is why partially we have a little bit bigger giveaway than first anticipated happened.
He keeps alluding to it, and I can't wait to hear it. But we're gonna wait a little bit to hear it.
got me nervous now. I don't even know what the fuck
Good.
to
I like
say
to
right
keep
now.
everybody on their toes. I'm accomplishing my goal. Before we get into the giveaway, we've got some news. First and foremost, we actually announced the other day on here that Jason Kelce was retiring. He said on the podcast with his brother yesterday that he hasn't made his mind up yet. He would never make a
That
decision.
was a jump on.
Schefter and whoever else leaked the
just-
news. He's retiring. He's just waiting to announce it his own way.
Yeah.
because the news leaked out.
He is retired.
I'm with you. I think he's gonna announce it later.
You want to know something? I was kind of with you guys, and then all this stuff came out about Sirianni today, and now he's going to make a pitch to Lori.
Yeah.
That
Better be a good fucking pitcher. He's out.
it's got to be a good pitch. If he keeps his job, you don't think there's a chance that Sirianni could rally the troops and get him to go for one more ride?
No.
None.
No.
So you think Kelsey's as good as done, even though today
I think he's done.
He's
had
old.
enough.
He's old for a center.
And he knows his best chance was last year when the cards were right for them, and he's not going to go through another debacle what he did this year.
So on top of that, they went to a Super Bowl last year, and he already almost retired.
Correct.
He was wavering for a little bit, and it was a big
They
deal when
would
he
have
came
won.
back
He
the
would have
first
been
time.
gone. He wouldn't have been back.
Agreed 100%. I think this might have been the last crack at it for Kelsey.
So you think that's it?
Yeah, that being said, we have new people in the chat. Are you Swifties? If you're Swifties, a lot of Swifties were making tributes to Travis's brother Jason all week, and you know exactly who Jason is. So if you feel any type of way about Jason Kelce potentially retiring, you can make the case he's the most notable Offensive lineman. No, offensive lineman of all time. I can't think of a more notable. Of course, he'll rattle off some names over there, but in our generation, I can't think of an offensive lineman that transcended media. Like, there's a documentary that came out on the Kelce's this year. It was about Jason Kelce. It wasn't about Travis Kelce. And you don't really see offensive linemen getting documentaries made about them. He's important. He's a big deal for NFL culture. So it'll be sad to see him go. People acknowledge him for what he's done the last couple of years, but if you remember, he was the one that was pioneering remember they were wearing dog masks in 2018 when they won? Remember that? They were wearing,
Yes, I do.
Him and Lane Johnson, they were wearing it'll be sad to see him go. We'll leave it at that.
Mike Tomlin came out today and said that they plan on having an open competition for the quarterback position in Pittsburgh, and they plan on bringing in competition to compete against Kenny Pickett. So it might not be Mason Rudolph. It might not be Kenny Pickett. Realistically, out of the quarterbacks that we think are going to be free agents, because there's going to be a decent amount of them, is there one that you guys can think of that would be a decent fit in Pittsburgh? I mean,
Russell Wilson.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Russell Wilson.
I was going to throw a Desmond Ridder at you real quick so you could, judge me.
No.
But Russell Wilson.
So you think
and
he
Mike
brings in
Tomlin.
a veteran?
I mean, I feel like Russell Wilson, Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, that's as close to a match made in heaven as you could get. That's the
Depending on
perfect
who their
situation.
offensive coordinator is going to be going forward.
That's true. And he also said in his presser today that they have not made any decisions on the rest of the coaching staff yet. So it'll be interesting to watch that. The Cardinals laid off multiple team employees, quote unquote, today. And one of them was their CFO named Greg Lee, who was with the team for 15 years. People close to the organization saying that nobody's job is safe right now. I'll be honest, kind of shocked to hear that, because it seemed like everything going on in Arizona, the culture was getting better towards the end of the year. They started to win games at the end of the year. Kyler came back, and when he was on the field, they didn't look awful. Like
No, they were good.
The worst team.
They
in
were
football.
actually very competitive.
So I was kind of surprised to hear that today. That one took me by surprise a little bit.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones released a statement saying that he has made up his mind on the coaching situation.
Bruce,
there,
can I get a fart noise before he finishes?
and they will be retaining head coach Mike McCarthy for the next season, according to him.
Fucking Jesus Christ. What is wrong with him? Huh? What the
Shocked.
fuck is wrong with him, dude?
Floored to see Mike McCarthy stay as coach.
Is that it? Is that it? Has he packed it in?
Well,
You know what? Just jump in the box, Jerry. What the fuck, dude? Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? You're gonna keep this tub of shit? He couldn't bring your team together, your fucking team that you've been building on, and he's not gonna fix your problems. You are not gonna win nothing with this guy. Keep bringing him back. Keep bringing him back, and you'll finish in second place every year.
I have to agree.
Fucking shit.
I agree 1,000%.
Dog shit.
The thing that surprised me the most is as many like great head coaches as you have floating around right now. You'd think that Jerry would at least want to take a flyer on one of them. I mean, we've seen insanity, right? Same thing over and over again. That's what I think we're seeing with Mike McCarthy.
It's just a joke already.
You know the old
They keep
saying,
regurgitating all these old fucking coaches. Get them the fuck out. Get some new blood in here. What the fuck?
you know the old saying, you could put lipstick on a pig. It's still
Guess what? You
it's
can't
still a
put
pig.
lipstick on Mike McCarthy.
It's still
okay?
a pig. And Uncle Sam says you can't put any lipstick on that pig. It's still a major.
Hey,
It's a hog.
Let me tell you something. I'm not a fan of his. He was ran out of fucking Green Bay for the same fucking reason that they should get rid of him now. Because he can't fucking win the big game. He had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks and won 1 fucking Super Bowl. Goodbye.
I think the issue with McCarthy it's more a Dallas issue. And we've talked about it before, but again, new people, hi, welcome. There's a level of complacency with the Cowboys that they think I think it starts with Jerry Jones. He thinks, well, I got the roster. I have everything figured out. I have the players. I don't really need a coach that could get it done. Well, no, you need good coaching. You need a good motivator. You need good scheme if you want to get it done. And again,
Dan Campbell's a better coach than Mike McCarthy.
oh, 100%.
100%.
Yeah, Dan Campbell's one of the best coaches in the league.
Yeah.
That being said, we talked about this last week. The Cowboys' loss on Sunday said more about the Cowboys than it did about the Packers. The Packers are not that good. Okay, they're a good team. They're playing really well right now. Jordan Love's on fire, and they're for the most part decently coached. There's no way that we're going to drop 50 points on the Cowboys in Dallas good. They're not that good. The Cowboys were not prepared. When there's a lopsided game like that, and when you have a quarterback like Dak that starts as slow as he has every time he's in a big game, that's coaching. That's preparation. You need to have the X's and O's down, and they need to bring in a guy that can figure it out with the offense, do something creative, someone that the players respect, and they need a little help on defense too, in my opinion. I think someone brought up a good point. I was listening to Pete Prisco talk about it. Their linebackers were getting iced on Sunday because they're small. They are small. Outside of their D-line, which all you got to do is run the ball at them, and you're fine. See Aaron Jones on Sunday. They're smaller. So you need to get bigger at linebacker. You need to fix your defensive scheme, be more adaptable, and you really need someone that can bring the best out of that really good group of players so they can win while they're still in their primes. You have Micah Parsons in his prime, Stephon Gilmore for the most part. You're going to get Diggs back next year. You need to win with those guys on defense, and you need to figure it out with Dak on offense.
In other news, coaching carousel news, the Falcons have interviewed Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh for their vacant head coaching position. So now that is 2 head coaching interviews for Jim Harbaugh. One, do we think there's any truth behind all of the rumors that are coming out that are stating Harbaugh is getting closer and closer to leaving Michigan? And if he does leave Michigan to go to the NFL, do we think the Chargers or the Falcons are a better situation / better fit?
Uncle Sam and I just talked about this, so I want him to go first real quick.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, they're preparing for a second interview with Bill Belichick.
Did you see that?
So
I did.
that to me is more interesting than a second interview. The first one lasted 28 minutes. So I don't know what transpired with that.
28 minutes is a long time for some people.
I think you're going to see Harbaugh go to a lot of different teams and do a lot of different interviews because I think he's going to see what's out there and see what's best for him.
What's weird is he's only had 2 interviews. I'm shocked it's only been 2 interviews.
So far.
And I think if anything, and the Michigan contingent's growing a lot louder, I think this is trending in the direction of if he doesn't go to the Chargers, he's going to end back up at Michigan. The Falcons are an excellent fit for Jim Harbaugh. They're a near perfect fit. They're missing the quarterback, which is what the Chargers offer that the Falcons don't. But the Chargers, as we know, are extremely broken. Extremely broken. You're entering in a really bad cap situation. It's pretty much a rebuild. I guess San Francisco was kind of bad off when he took it over. They had the talent, but they were in some cap hell and quarterback hell with Alex Smith, and he ended up going to a Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick. So I guess the Chargers can make sense. In fact, a lot of people think they make the most sense. For me personally, I think the Falcons are a top 3 situation for Harbaugh. All they need is a quarterback. You can go draft a quarterback and be all set there. So Bill Belichick, good for him if he lands the Falcons job.
Or you bring in a vet?
You bring in a vet. I mean, Harbaugh would thrive with some of these vets that are out there. I think Harbaugh would thrive with Kirk Cousins. I think Harbaugh would thrive with Russ. I think he'd thrive with a lot of these guys.
Wilson.
And the pieces are there. You got 2 good running backs. You have a really good offensive line. You have 2 good receivers. You have a good tight end. The pieces are there offensively, and obviously we saw what Jesse Bates did last year.
Yeah, the defense is starting to come along.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about Atlanta, but good if it's Belichick, and I think Atlanta's going to be Bill Belichick. We've been talking about that for 2 weeks. Arthur Blank's been trying to land the big fish for 20 years now. Good for Belichick. I don't think the Chargers are as good of a fit for Harbaugh as the Falcons are. But again, Uncle Sam says it's 2 interviews and counting. I agree. I think other teams are going to call.
He's going to go with quite a few interviews, I think.
Well, they haven't come yet. That's the problem. They haven't come in, and he's not doing anything right now. He's not waiting or anything like that. His team's done. He's not working. He was at Regina last night, by the way.
Who?
Jim Harbaugh.
For what?
His daughter plays for I can't remember which school. She plays basketball. I got a picture. But Jim Harbaugh was on the east side last night. So he's just chilling right now. So more teams should call Jim Harbaugh. I'm shocked they have not. The longer this goes, if it's just the Chargers.
He's got this deal with Michigan, too, that he's got to take care of. He
What's
put his
that?
offer on the table of what he wanted out of them.
Yeah.
They told him what they were
He'll
offering.
get it.
And
He'll get it.
we'll see what happens.
When the
with it. If
time
they're gonna
comes,
give
he'll
him
get
the
it.
immunity thing or whatever. I mean, if you're innocent, I don't really think you need all that, but
I think he'll
what
get
it
it.
is.
I think he'll get whatever he
what
wants
it
in
is.
Michigan.
One last piece of news. The Ravens have signed running back Dalvin Cook, and he will be making his debut in Saturday's game against the Texans. Do we like that fit?
yeah.
You know, Gus Edwards has been a red zone monster this
Well,
year.
they lost their rookie. He's injured. So they need that change of pace back. Gus Edwards is a power runner. So you bring in Dalvin Cook. He's that little scat back dude. I think it's a good fit. I really do.
I'm indifferent. I think everything the Ravens do is gold. Everything they touch
I
turns
just
to
think
gold.
that he's a good change of pace from what they have there right now. And Justice Hill has been playing pretty fucking good.
He has. Justice Hill was never
Yeah.
bad. He was never
he's
bad.
been
He just
playing
had
pretty
two
good,
guys that
so-
were good in front of him.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Good to have depth at running back, especially in the playoffs, and they need that.
Wait till they draft hometown boy Blake Corum in the second round this year.
Yeah. I'd rather
Baltimore's finest
I'd
Blake
rather see
Corum.
him sign Derrick Henry, make that offense really potent.
You know, you're always in with the old and out with the new.
I'm in with a guy that's 6'4" and that just runs people over. That to me is the best medicine you can give to any offense.
And that's the news for today. So, I think the way that we're going to do this is we should do our picks. It's divisional round. We've got to make our picks here. And then as soon as we wrap the picks up, we're going to give away some tickets to the Tampa Bay versus Lions game. So, let's go right into the picks. Starting out on Saturday at 4:30 p.m., the Houston Texans are heading up to M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore to play the Ravens. Baltimore, a 9.5-point favorite going into this one. The over-under is 43.5. And Uncle Sam, I want to hear your thoughts on this game first.
What is it again?
Baltimore, a 9.5-point favorite.
Damn.
The over-under is 43.5.
Who's going to Baltimore?
The Texans.
Texans? I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to go with the over on this game, and I'm going to take the Texans in this. Something
Texans
tells
to
me
cover,
that C.J.
Texans
Stroud.
to win.
I'm taking them to win. To upset. After what I've seen last week against a good Cleveland team, I'm convinced that they're no joke.
You're taking Houston
I am taking
to
Houston
win.
to upset the Baltimore
Okay, is this because your butt hurt that they bounced your Joe
No,
Flacco?
it's not that.
Or is this because you
I just
actually
thought-
think they can beat Baltimore?
I actually think they can beat them.
Wow.
And I think C.J. Stroud, if he's able to do this, he deserves MVP.
Okay, and you're taking the over.
Taking the over.
43.5-point over. I'm going to agree with Uncle Sam, and I'm going to not only take the over, but I'm going to hammer the over in this game. This should be a scoring frenzy, an absolute scoring frenzy.
Nico Collins is going to fucking eat this week.
So you also hit one of my prop bets, which is a Nico Collins anytime touchdown. I'm taking that all weekend. Nico Collins pretty much a lock to score. Listen, Ravens play great defense. We know that. And they're nice and their best assets are their linebackers in the run game. But I think that Nico Collins gets at least free one time to score a touchdown in this. Now, I think
If
that
Tank Dell was on the field right now, I don't know how you could make the Ravens a 9-point favorite. I really don't.
you probably can't, but I think that we have a little bit of atrophy from not seeing the Ravens last week.
Yeah,
The Ravens are definitively right now the best team in the AFC.
we know that.
Best
I
team
think
in
they're the
football.
best team in the NFL.
Probably the
Best team in football.
right now.
I am going to take the Houston Texans to cover this game, but Baltimore to win. I think it's going to be a touchdown difference. I don't think that the Ravens are going to beat them by 10. I think this game is going to be pretty close for most of the way. I think right now, the way that Stroud's playing, he can keep up in lockstep with them, but ultimately, Baltimore's just got too much firepower. And Baltimore's defense even though Houston's defense played really well last week, Baltimore's a step above. So give me Houston to cover and the over.
Go ahead, Uncle Sam.
I already went.
So I'm in the same boat as you. I think I think Baltimore wins. Still the best team in football. They're going to be a little rusty if you're not playing in 2 weeks. Lamar hasn't played in 3 weeks. And on top of that, something that they've done all year, sans a couple games, is they play to their opponents. And yeah, this is a good opponent. The Texans are pretty good. They're playing well. Of course, Stroud. I mean, what more can we say about Stroud? What more can we say we haven't said? Stroud boys, stand up. If we got any Stroud boys in the chat, here we go. Nico Collins, of course, I'm with you on Nico Collins anytime. One of the props that I like, I got two that I like actually. The first one is Gus Edwards anytime. I think Gus Edwards is going to run all over the Texans defense because that's how you beat Houston, is you run the ball effectively. That's how Indy did it. That's how Cleveland tried to do it. You got to and couldn't. They relied on
Right.
Flacco. I think if you run the ball effectively, you could beat Houston. Number one. Number two, Derek Stingley has been the unsung hero of the Texans defense all year because they've been good everywhere else, especially like Will Anderson has come on towards the end of the year. Derek Stingley, when healthy, is one of the best corners in football. I think he was better than Sauce Gardner, who was taken in front of him in the draft. I think Derek Stingley's incredible, actually, which means he's probably going to draw flowers. You know who performs really well in the playoffs when given the opportunity? Odell Beckham. I'm going Odell over. I think his over-under's at 32.5. I like Odell over 32.5 because he's not going to draw Stingley. Stingley shadows, and he's going to shadow Flowers. So I think Odell's going to open up for a bigger game when the Ravens aren't running the ball. The one thing I'll say, I like the under for two reasons. Number one, you both picked the over. Number two, I think this game's going to be outside in the cold, and that's going to make it about defense. And the last time Mike Macdonald, the defensive coordinator, who's future head coach, the last time Mike Macdonald, the Ravens defensive coordinator, coached against C.J. Stroud was in the Big House in Ann Arbor 2 years ago, fall of 2021, and Michigan beat Ohio State, and he held C.J. Stroud to 27 points, if I remember correctly. I might be off on that. Bob, you can fact check me. I think Mike Macdonald has the best defensive scheme in football right now, and I think he's going to do enough to keep Stroud in check. It's just a matter of if Lamar can do more. And I think Lamar will. I do think the Texans cover the points. I'm going with the under, though, and I'm going with Baltimore to win outright.
So I agree with you on the Gus Edwards anytime touchdown. As a prop bet, my two anytime touchdown scores of this game, Nico Collins and Gus Edwards. But with the addition of Dalvin Cook, you know they're going to want to give him a couple reps, and Justice Hill is going to get his share as well. I'm going to take Gus Edwards under 50.5 yards as well to go with his anytime touchdown. Realistically, Gus Edwards, red zone monster, doesn't put up massive numbers. He's averaging, I believe, 44 yards a game right now. Stroud, I am taking over 240.5 passing yards, so differ there. I think that the Texans are going to have to throw the ball to stay in this game.
I agree. You're going to find out. Stroud's good. We know that. You're going to find out how good. If he goes into Baltimore and wins, I mean, unquestioned, they have to be the favorite out of the AFC at that
1,000%.
At the bare minimum.
1,000%. If Houston pulls that game out, you want to talk about turning a franchise around?
Then you got to go back to Houston.
That is as Cincinnati-esque as it gets from a couple years ago. So
wait, hold on. I think Houston was the 4, right?
Houston is a 4.
Houston was the 4, so they have to
going
travel
to
next
Buffalo
week no
or
matter
They
what.
knock out the one, they don't go to home field?
No. The higher seed gets
thought they
home
did.
field. So winner
bad.
of Chiefs Bills would get home field if Baltimore loses.
Okay. I don't think it fucking matters either way, to be honest with you.
If they go into Baltimore and win, they're probably going into
that's-
Buffalo or Kansas City and
huge.
winning.
Next up, Saturday Night Football, 8:15 p.m., live from San Francisco at Levi Stadium. The Green Bay Packers coming off of one of the biggest upsets in this year's NFL realm, beating the Dallas Cowboys at Jerry World, are now heading in to Levi Stadium to play the 49ers. The 49ers are also, just like the other one seed out of the AFC, The 49ers are also a 9.5-point favorite in this game. Over-under sitting a little bit higher at 50.5 points. Again, Saturday Night Football. And if Green Bay plays like they did against Dallas, who knows what could happen. One thing that we can say for sure, though, is I think every Lions fan is rooting for Green Bay this weekend.
I sure am.
Because if Green Bay wins that game on Saturday night, then you are playing for a third Lions playoff home game. Not only a playoff game, an NFC championship game. And
a third matchup with Green Bay.
A third matchup with Green Bay and probably another ticket giveaway.
Yeah.
So everybody better be rooting for Green Bay here this week. Like I said, Frisco, a 9.5-point favorite. Over-under is 50.5. Uncle Sam.
I'm going to fuck everybody up here right now. I'm
Who?
thinking the under in Green Bay.
Why? You got to tell me why.
Listen to me. I got a feeling Green Bay's hot right now. Dalvin Cook, Jesus Christ, jumped in his body last week.
Aaron Jones.
I'm sorry. And I got a feeling it's going to happen again this week. Aaron Jones going to have a fucking huge game. 3 touchdowns by Aaron Jones this week coming. And I don't see Matt LaFleur, man. He's surprising everybody.
LaFleur,
that Dallas game was bigger than what people think.
LaFleur, by the way, goes back to the Mike Shanahan staff in Washington. Right. So he's in that circle with McVay, Kyle Shanahan. I think Kevin O'Connell's in there. I'm missing someone. Mike McDaniels. There's 5 head coaches on that staff in Washington. So there's obviously a relationship between LaFleur and Kyle Shanahan.
So I really wanted to agree with you. All right, and I will be
I know, listen, I get it. I know it's far-fetched.
They are
if
hot.
If it happens, I'll be shocked.
They are hot.
But they're hot right now, and I like, you know what I liked? Their intensity last week. They came out with an intensity.
I mean, they punched
that Dallas could
right
not fucking match.
Agree.
And that was in all phases of the game. And I think if they could repeat that performance on the road, I really think they have what it takes. Their defense is solid. They have what it takes to beat the 49ers.
Okay. I want to agree with you, and I am going to be a Green Bay Packers fan this weekend. But I can't pick Green Bay to win this game with a good conscience. You got a fully rested McCaffrey, all right? You have 2 weeks for Kyle Shanahan to not coach his way out of this game, to prep for it. And you have an obscenely nicked up Green Bay Packers team right now. You got Keyshawn Nixon questionable, Rashawn Gary questionable, Jair Alexander still hurt.
They'll all play.
Jaden Reed banged up going into this game. A.J. Dillon might not play again, which they didn't need him last week with the way Aaron Jones
played.
Him
anyway.
But that's a lot of guys who are banged up for Green Bay.
Yeah, but by the time the end of the week comes along, all them guys will be playing. I wouldn't worry about any of that.
So, me personally, Green Bay put up an incredible offensive performance last week, and they have fantastic young wide receivers. And I think they're going to put up a shitload of points again this week, and we know San Francisco can put up points. So I'm taking the over in this game. I know it's 50, and usually we don't like 50-point overs, but I am going to take the 50.5-point over in this game, and much like in the first game, I'm going to take a Green Bay cover. I'm going to take a Frisco win. All right. And this took me time to figure out, but there was one thing that was a guarantee as a prop bet in this game, and it's a Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown. Now that we get past the obvious, I like Christian McCaffrey to have over 30.5 receiving yards in this game. I think that in order for Green Bay to stay in this, they've got to bring the pressure, right? And I think you're going to have dump off after dump off after dump off. And as we know, if Christian McCaffrey gets a dump off and breaks it one time, he's going to hit that 30.5 yard over. I like McCaffrey over 30.5 receiving yards and an anytime touchdown. At the same time, I think that they're going to utilize Christian McCaffrey to the absolute 10th degree in this game. So I'm going to take Purdy under 260.5 passing yards. And I'm going to take George Kittle over 4.5 receptions. I think that Purdy's going to have to hit McCaffrey and Kittle. I don't think we're going to have a real high-flying down-the-field game. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring quick, but I don't think you're going to have an absolute air raid in this. Not in a San Francisco-Green Bay game, but Green Bay cover, San Francisco to win, just like the Houston cover, Baltimore to win.
I hate going after Sam because he just said what I'm going to do for the second straight time. I'm with you. I think the number is too big. 9.5 is too big for this game. The way the Packers are playing, do I think they're some outstanding team and they're going to go into San Francisco and, cause a bunch of problems? No. But I think that's a big number. I think San Francisco's got a big lead late, and the Packers somehow close it in the back door. And this game isn't as close as the score seems, but I do think that the Niners don't cover the 9.5. So I'm going to go with the Niners to win, the Packers to cover. I like the under in this one, and let me tell you why.
I like 2 unders in a row.
It's 2 unders in a row, which I almost never do. I like the under because you have a team, same drill, that's going to be rusty coming off of 2 weeks rest in the Niners. And that was a big emotional win for the Packers last week. Big and emotional. They're going to be riding high, and they're going to be up on their high horse. Do I think they can win? 100%. Do I want the Packers to win? Hell yeah. Go, Pack, go. Because that means good news for us if we roll around into Sunday and we know that we have a shot to host that game next week, okay? So I want the Packers to win. I don't think they have the firepower to go into San Francisco and get into a shootout and win. I just don't do it. San Francisco is really good at home. They had that lapse on Christmas, of course, but they're really, really good at home, and I don't think this Packers team's equipped for that. The 2 props that I like both involve Jordan Love. Number 1, I think for the Packers to be in this game, it's not going to be an Aaron Jones game. I think it's got to be on Jordan Love's back, which means I'm going over his pass attempts, which I think is 34.5. Someone will have to fact check me on that. I'm going over Jordan Love's pass attempts. I think he's going to be throwing the ball around like crazy. And because he's going to be throwing the ball around like crazy, I think he's going to throw interceptions. So I'm going over 0.5 interceptions. I like either of those if you want to parlay them some way, do an SGP with the game score or whatever. But I like the Packers to cover. I like the Niners to win. I like the under. And I think Jordan Love is going to be the story one way or another this game. If the Packers win, the story is going to be Jordan Love. If the Packers lose, the story is going to be Jordan Love. That's my prediction for this game.
I'll let you go before me this time.
No. Because I want to see if we line up.
So far, we're in lockstep. Next up, obviously, we're not going to give you the Sunday game before the Sunday night game. The Kansas City Chiefs are heading up to Highmark Stadium to play the Buffalo Bills, where the Bills just came out and said that they need more snow shovelers again for this weekend. So anybody looking to make $20 an hour can head up to Buffalo to shovel the field for them. But Highmark Stadium, Bills, Chiefs. I feel like we've seen this game literally on repeat for the last 3 years, and we get to see it again. Buffalo goes in. Go ahead.
In Buffalo.
A little. That's the big change.
A little curveball on that one.
Not from Arrowhead this time. In Buffalo. Mahomes versus Allen. Buffalo, who, for all intents and purposes, was out of the playoffs 2 months ago, now hosting Kansas City. And Buffalo is a 2.5-point favorite in this game. The over-under 45.5. Uncle Sam, is Mahomes going to get cute, or will Josh Allen step up?
I'm taking the over, and I'm taking Patty Mahomes.
Why?
Why? Because
Tell us.
Patty Mahomes is cute.
Why is Patty? Listen, we got new people here today.
Right.
They don't know what you think about Patty Mahomes.
This is it. Josh Allen in these big games has not been able to get over the hump. And they weren't impressive last week as far as I was concerned. And I think they've been living by the seat of their pants about the last 3 weeks.
Shout out to Ags, by the way.
So, and shout out to those boys in Buffalo there. What's their name again?
The Yak Boys. And Nico texted me after the game on Sunday too. We got to circle back with as this trends in the direction this might trend towards. We got to get in touch with the Yak guys because they're holding their end of Lake Erie down as well.
They got to be.
We got this end of Lake Erie and they got the other end of Lake Erie getting held down. So shout out to the Yak Boys
right now with the way they've looked.
Speaking of the big Yak guys, hypothetically, what if we ended up with a Buffalo Detroit Super Bowl? We'd have to put something serious on that game. We'd have to make
Yeah.
that one interesting with them.
Yeah, but I'm
shout
taking
out
the
to Big Yak.
Chiefs. I'm sorry. What's the over-under again?
The
45?
over-under is 45.5
Going
points.
the over, and I'm taking Kansas City.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
Listen, I'm going to take Buffalo to win this game. I think the 2.5 points is a good cover for them as well. This game's going to be close, but they should win this game by more than a field goal. I don't see this Buffalo Chiefs game being this 1 point. It came down to a missed extra point situation. I don't see that. Somebody's going to win this game on a field goal, or somebody's going to win this game on a touchdown.
This is the first game that Patty Mahomes is going to play away from Arrowhead.
So first playoff game.
He's got to prove that he's the guy.
So the other thing, that 45.5 point under, if you remember what I just said a minute ago, that they're going to need snow shovelers back in Buffalo, well, guess what?
That's why I'm going the under.
The weather in Buffalo ain't looking good for this weekend. I am taking the 45.5 point under as well. And my props. I'm taking Josh Allen under 230.5 passing yards. I think that we've saw now a decent body of work in the Buffalo run game. 80 yards last week out of James Cook. James Cook single-handedly took over that Dallas game and beat Dallas. I think that they're going to utilize him in the cold weather, and that James Cook will be one of the big reasons why they win this game. Josh Allen under 230.5 yards. I'm taking then James Cook over 60 rushing yards. I think that that's an easy number that he's going to hit this week. I don't love Kansas City. Even last week, I get it. Miami wasn't able to do anything against them, but I am still not 1,000% sold on that Kansas City defense, and I don't think it was what it was at the beginning of the year. All right? At the same time, I think Kansas City...
Look for Pacheco to have a very solid game this week.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Pacheco anytime touchdown.
For Kansas City to stay in this game, they're going to have to run the ball with Pacheco as well. I'm taking Pacheco over 65.5 rushing yards, and I'm taking Mahomes under 37.5 passing attempts. I just don't think you're going to have all that much passing in this game. It's going to be windy. It's going to be cold. There's going to be snow, and both of these teams are going to have to run the ball effectively to keep this thing close. But I am going to take Rashee Rice anytime touchdown for Kansas City. He has been hot. He is one of the best young receivers in the league. Nobody has really started to talk to him yet and put him up in that upper echelon. I think next year this guy's going to show he's the real deal. But I'm betting all the runs, all the overs on the run game. I'm betting all the unders on the passing game in this one. Zolo.
Let me start with my props. I am with you. You actually had a couple of my props. I love the Pacheco over 62.5 because that's how Kansas City is going to win if they effectively run the ball. And Pacheco's been running hot. And an observation on the Bills that I've had over the last couple weeks as they've been on this run is everything behind their line is bad defensively. It's guys that we know, but they haven't played well. Even Von Miller's not really playing well. So if Pacheco gets into the second level, he's going to break runs off. I love Pacheco's over of 62.5 yards. I also love the anytime touchdown on Rashee Rice. I rode that last week. I think that's going to be the second go-to, which leads me to one of my props. The Bills are very poor against linebackers against tight ends. It's because their linebackers are not good right now. They're not healthy. They're just bad defensively. They're bad and they're unhealthy. If Poyer isn't the one, or Micah Hyde, if those two guys aren't the ones that are covering Travis Kelce, I think Travis Kelce is due to pop the hell off. I like Travis Kelce anytime this week, just because I haven't played it all year. It's about time. I think this is the week that we finally see Travis well
last week, so
yeah,
expect for him to really get
heavily
targeted.
I'm with Uncle Sam on that. And number two, same drill. For both of these teams, you got to be able to effectively run the ball. And I think there's going to be a point of emphasis to shut down James Cook from the Chiefs defense. And I actually do. When the Chiefs defense is humming, it's humming. Nick Bolton leads a pretty good group in their defensive backfield, in my opinion. I like Josh Allen's over on rushing yards. Again, I like Josh Allen over on rushing yards. He broke it in like one run last week. He had a 50-yard run. Yep. I think he's going to have a couple 10-yard runs to string together over 44.5 rushing yards. I do think Josh Allen's legs play a big factor in this game. As for the game prediction, I have gone back and forth on this game since it came out, since Monday. I've gone back and forth so many times. I don't know which direction to go in. I really don't. But I'll say this much. I think there's no quarterback that's going to be unfazed more than Pat Mahomes with the big crowd. I think Pat Mahomes is going to be unfazed by the weather because he's up against bad weather all the time. And even though it's his first road playoff game, I like his experience. Maybe it's Josh Allen's first home playoff game against a good team. And that's going to cause him to 180. And we all know the Bills have choked some pretty big home playoff games. They choked against Burrow last year. I didn't love what I saw from Buffalo on Monday, and I want to pick them, and I hope they win. I hope it's that Bills-Lions Super Bowl, but it's hard in this game. Kansas City righted a lot of ships that I've been looking for them to right for 2 months. They did, albeit it was against a banged-up Dolphins team at home, but I think they have the pieces to take down Buffalo and Buffalo. And then the one thing I want to allude to is it's really hard in the NFL to beat a team twice. It's really hard to do that unless there's a major talent discrepancy or there's injuries or whatever. I think that Kansas City is going to be out for retribution after losing to Buffalo at home earlier in the year. Very reluctantly because I want them to lose. I'm picking the Chiefs, which means I have the Chiefs covering. Picking the Chiefs, I'm picking the Chiefs to cover. And again, going counter to you, I do think this is going to be a bit more of a shootout because these two teams are used to playing in the element. So I'm going to go with the over of 45 and a half. 45 and a half?
45 and a half.
I'm going to go with the over. Reluctantly. Everything's reluctant. I hope the Bills win. I think the Chiefs are going to pull it out.
All right. We have one more game to pick.
Wait, hold on.
Are you going to pull a full Lee Corso here today? Is that what's going to happen?
No, I'm not headgear type, but I just want to be in between two Lions helmets. That's all.
We have one more game to pick. And as soon as we pick that game, we are going to give away 2 tickets to that game. So, without further ado, our very own Detroit Lions are hosting a divisional playoff game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Most anticipated game of the week, obviously, for us. Now, Buccaneers coming off of a big win against Philadelphia, a game in which they were not favorited in. Todd Bowles said right after that game, we won't be favorited going into Detroit, and we like it that way. We enjoy being the underdog. We've got the chip on our shoulder. The Buccaneers come up in here as 6.5-point underdogs. The over-under in this 3 o'clock game on Sunday, 48.5 points from Ford Field. Uncle Sam, Lions-Bucks, who do you got?
I'm going to take the over and the Lions in this game.
Oh, thank you.
I think they got enough to take care of Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. I know the Bucs have a lot of experience, but I just think the Lions are hungry, and we beat them at home. They got to come here, and this is going to be a frenzy this week. They haven't seen anything like this probably since the Super Bowl they were in.
Probably.
But that was fucking 2 years ago.
Probably.
And this is a different fucking team now. So, good luck.
They never had to leave Tampa in that Super Bowl.
They did not. Super Bowl's in Tampa, and they had home field advantage.
Correct. So this year, and this is the only thing I want to see, is David Montgomery better get more than fucking 25 carries in this game, or I will absolutely fucking blow my brains out right on camera. Fuck you, Ben Johnson. You better run him more than 3 times in that second half, you prick.
Okay. I'm taking our Detroit Lions to win this game. I am taking Tampa Bay to cover the 6.5 points. This game is going to be closer than anybody expects. Last week, I thought that the Rams game was going to be closer than anybody expects, and it couldn't have gotten any closer. Literally, 1-point game. I think that you're going to have a similar game against Tampa Bay. And I know that Detroit beat Tampa Bay handily the first time they played them this year. I was there. It was a blowout. J-Mo had his that was the J-Mo coming out party. Montgomery had an awesome game. Listen, that won't happen. This is a different Tampa team than we saw the first time we played them. Now, the fans in this game, like Zolo said the other day, and Ford Field are the difference maker to me. Ford Field broke the fans broke the all-time sound decibel record at Ford Field last week. I expect it'll probably be broken again this week. At the end of the day, Detroit is the better team. I think that Tampa Bay may have a slight edge on defense, but offensively, I don't think Tampa Bay keeps up with the Lions. I am going to take under.
Jared Goff threw for over 300 yards on that defense. So I'm
that's
pretty
a different defense.
I'm pretty confident in this week's game.
That first time they played them, that entire secondary was out.
Yeah.
Vita Vea didn't play. You're dealing with a different defense now. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people expect. I am taking Tampa to cover. I am, of course, taking our Lions to win, and I'm going to take under 48.5 points here. Tampa Bay put up a lot of points last week against a defeated Philadelphia team that didn't want to be there. We've seen Tampa Bay stall against good defenses. I think that they do. I don't think this is going to be a ton of scoring. Give me the under 48.5, Tampa to cover, Lions -6.5, and I'm going to let you go and do your props first.
So someone that's due to score a touchdown, in my opinion, even though he scored one 2 weeks ago against the Vikings and the week before that against the Cowboys, someone who scored the first game off of a really good Craig Reynolds block is Amon-Ra. I don't think Tampa Bay has the answers at cornerback for this Lions defense. They have the answers at safety, of course. Of course they do. I think Antoine Winfield might be the best safety in the league. Am I off on that?
He's right now. He's one of the top 5 safeties in the league. Probably not 3, 4, or 5.
What they're gonna do defensively is they're not gonna get beat deep, and they're gonna keep everything in front of them, which means a lot of crossing patterns, and it means a lot of slot receivers. It means a lot in the middle of the field, which is where Jared Goff is money over a lot of quarterbacks in the league. Tampa's defense is going to keep everything in front of them. They're not going to be beat by the running backs on a big play. They're going to let their defensive line eat. So I like Amon-Ra to get a touchdown. I like Amon-Ra to have it. It's going to be a red zone opportunity. It's not going to be some long play like last time. They're going to get into the red zone and they're going to cook, I think. I also like, and this one's interesting, but one of the things I didn't like that Tampa did the first time around is they relied a little bit too much on Baker Mayfield. And I've been harping on this show how I think Rachaad White is one of the best running backs in the league. And he didn't have a great game last week, but he's still pretty good. The Lions fare well against good running backs, so I like that. But I think that if they're over-reliant on Baker, it's going to force mistakes, and that's what happened the first game. They need to put Baker Mayfield in comfortable positions. When he's getting blitzed, there needs to be a guy open in the flat. They need to take what the defense gives them. So I like Baker under passing attempts because I think if he goes over the passing attempts, he's doomed. I think that's a recipe for the disaster against the Lions defense because Baker's play is not conducive for how the Lions play defense, in a good way for the Lions. So I like Baker's under in 34.5 passing attempts. I like Amon-Ra anytime. To the game itself, you hit the nail on the head. This is a way different Tampa team. Way different. Now, they were hot going into that game last time, and the Lions had a few injuries. They had no David Montgomery. Laporta was banged up. There were some issues. I think there were some issues on the offensive line. Jameer Gibbs eventually left the game, or maybe Montgomery eventually. Either way, there were issues. Montgomery left the game. There was no Gibbs. Yep. And just as the Bucs are a different team now, well, so are the Lions. The Lions are a lot different team, and guess who's coming back this week? James the Problem Houston is going to be back this week. And I think for that reason, the Lions' pass rush eats in a way that you haven't seen this year. Aiden Hutchinson has put together one of the best three-game stretches of any pass rusher in the league this year, and I think getting Houston back only is going to elevate that. It's only going to lead to good things, okay? I'm with you. I think the number is a little big, 6.5.
I do too.
That being said, if they cover it, it's going to be a backdoor cover. I think the Lions are able to maintain with the home crowd. Baker Mayfield's never experienced what he's going to experience Sunday. That moment Sam was talking about with the decibel record, it came at the beginning of the game when they introduced Jared Goff out of the tunnel. I think when they announced Aiden Hutchinson, when they announced the defense on Sunday, that they're going to break that Kansas City decibel record. I do. I think it's going to hold the entire game. I'm looking for a batshit crazy
the funny
crowd.
thing is that Kansas City decimal record? It's outside.
Yeah. I think they were factoring in a flyover, too. I think that was a part of it as well. So it's impressive. Credit to them.
Outside.
Seattle's outside, too.
They've been pumping noise in for years.
But Ford Field is consistently nuts. And I'm expecting that. I'm expecting the lower bowl, whoever gets these lower bowl tickets, you're not going to be sitting the entire game. I'm going to tell you that right now. I do like the Lions to win. I like the under. I think that this is going to be a little bit more of a dogfight. This is not going to be easy. This Tampa team is better. I think there's going to be scratching and clawing going on. I think that Baker missed a lot of throws the first time around that he's not going to miss this time. He missed Mike Evans on a few deep balls last time. I think Godwin's playing the best ball of his year right now, which he wasn't last time. I'm expecting a lot better of a Tampa team. I think defensively they're going to be great. I love what Kalisha Cansey has done throughout the year as a rookie. Vita Vea is one of the best interior linemen in the league. The Lions are going to struggle to run the ball, okay? But I do think that this dogfight ends up favoring the Lions as long as it's a shootout down the stretch. That favors Jared Goff at home. That's just my opinion. I like Tampa to cover. I like the Lions to win, okay? And I like the under. But I'm looking at you. I like you guys the most. I like anyone that's going to this game to make a lot of noise and to cause a lot of problems. Because, again, like I said on Tuesday, just enjoy this no matter what happens. Don't take this for granted. Don't think you're walking into next week because it's not going to happen. You have your hands full this week against a really good Tampa team. Do not be shocked if the Lions get everything they can handle from Tampa, even at home. But I like you guys. I like you guys to make a lot of noise. I like you guys to cause a lot of problems. I like making more history at Ford Field this week. Forward down the field.
Bruce, what do you think?
Forward down the field, baby.
Forward down the field, baby.
I don't know what that means.
Forward down the field.
What the fuck does that mean?
Clearly you haven't been to a Lions game then.
Real quick, couple prop bets that I also liked here from the Lions-Bucks game. I like Cade Otton over 30.5 points. Tight ends as of late have had a good job catching the ball off of the Lions linebackers. And I like a Mike Evans anytime touchdown. I also like a David Montgomery anytime touchdown in this game. And everything that Zolo just said about how we need everybody in Ford Field on Sunday needs to be as loud as possible, break that decibel record again. The fans at the game last week were a big reason why we won the game. If you check out our last reel, Zolo talks about it. The Rams had to burn 2 timeouts early because of you guys, because the fans at Ford Field were so loud they couldn't get their audibles in. So, a huge thanks because this exceeded every expectation we had. Me and Zolo talked about it. We thought that, we'd hit probably 4,000 or 5,000 Instagram followers, gain a few subscribers on here, but we really want to thank you guys. We got over 6,500 on Instagram. We are over 400 on here now. Hopefully, you guys that have stayed for the show are subscribing and will continue to come with us next week. And we just want to thank you guys for the support here today. Because the turnout was so much bigger than we expected, I made an executive decision. Instead of giving away 2 tickets, one set of 2 tickets to this game, we're going to give away 4 tickets, 2 sets of 2. There are 2 winners. The 2 winners were randomly chosen before the show. We put it into a website, computer situation, and it gave me 2 of you guys who commented, liked, and followed us on Instagram. So there are 2 names, 2 Instagram tag names that I have that are going to be our 2 winners of 2 tickets. So we're giving away 4. One thing I saw on Twitter, the average ticket price for this game now has risen to $1,154 a ticket. That is flooring to me. So hopefully giving away these tickets really, really makes a difference for 2 of you guys. And you guys can go enjoy the game. only if you go there and you scream and yell and be loud the whole time.
And quick shout out
Anything
to
to
Elizabeth. Quick shout out to Elizabeth on the idea. This is a great idea. Welcome to all of you.
Shout out to Elizabeth.
We
this was all your gig, honey.
We're good dudes.
That was all your gig. Don't let these guys take the credit.
We're 4 Italians from Metro Detroit, from the East Side. We have a lot of fun talking football. I promise we have a lot of fun a couple times a week. We talk other stuff too. We talk about grilling and meats and stuff like that. And please, we ask you to give us a chance and come hang out with us a couple times a week. Listen to us on your commute. We're a lot better than Valeni and Rico, who fucking suck.
Fuck that.
We're better than anything on 97.1. We're as good as any of your Barstool podcasts. We will answer your questions in the chat about just about anything, mainly football, but just about anything. But please come back whenever you want. And Sam, shout out to you. He did this with his own money. This isn't, no one donated these tickets. I'm a Lions season ticket holder. I didn't donate my tickets for this because I'm a selfish prick. He donated 4 tickets for this to make this happen.
He's not even going to be here.
And that's cool. And he's not even going to be here.
And
he's not even going to be here. He could be going to the game and he's not going because he's giving the tickets to you, which is incredible. And please come hang out with us whenever you'd like. We'll be happy to see you again. And if this is a dream of yours, like it has been of mine to go to these games, I hope you get to live it out. I hope it means as much for you as it does to me.
Yeah, and I also want to say, the amount of messages that I received from all of you guys made me wish that I could do more and give more of these tickets away. I mean, I would love to send everybody with their dad. I mean, the amount of the amount of messages I got, it was honestly touching. And so shout out to everybody who entered this to try and, make somebody's dream come true or do something really nice for a loved one. Shout out to you guys. But we've messed around enough. You guys have stayed around long enough. We are going to give away 4 now. There's a whole slew of you guys in the chat. So
spell out their handles because I want to look them up as you do it too.
I am going to spell out the handles. So our first winner of the ticket giveaway. 2 tickets. Tampa Bay versus the Lions divisional round this weekend is at Robert.Lynn1. ROBERT.LYNN and the number 1. You were randomly selected to win 2 tickets to the Lions game this weekend. Shout out to you. Enjoy it. They tagged in there that they were going to bring their significant other to their first Lions game. So shout out to you.
That's cool.
Enjoy the game.
Make noise and tell your significant other to make noise too, please.
And number 2, the second set of tickets at Noah_Mitchell3. NOAH_Mitchell, MITCHELL in the number 3. Shout out to you. We're gonna message everybody on. That one on Instagram now, both Robert and Noah, and we're gonna send you guys 2 tickets. Again, we wish we could do this for everybody. A promise that I can make to you guys right now is that if the Lions do what they should do this weekend, and we're all rooting for Green Bay, and Green Bay wins in San Francisco this weekend, we're doing this again next week. Because I'm not gonna lie, I had a ton of fun doing it. I love the fact that everybody was in here. I hope you guys are all back with us on Tuesday for that show when we recap all this. Hopefully it's just as fun as this was today. So thank you guys all for participating. Thanks to everybody for being here today. And do we have any final thoughts before we end the show? Zolo?
No. Enjoy your weekend. This could be
enjoy this weekend and fuck.
We've been hearing for years, like I've been hearing for my entire childhood, how the divisional round of the NFL, divisional round weekend, those 4 games over 2 days are like one of the best 2-day periods in sports. Right. And it usually lives up. I mean, the divisional round is typically the best. The divisional round is almost always better than championship weekend, in my opinion. Maybe the Super Bowl trumps divisional round weekend, but we get to host the divisional round in the city of Detroit for the first time in the existence of the divisional round, and it's the first time for the Lions franchise since Uncle Sam was there in the Silverdome back in January '92.
Yes,
and if you're going to the game, just in general, even if you're not, like, enjoy this because
have a great time, man. Listen, this shit ain't gonna come around often.
Yeah,
it's once every 30 years.
We were killing for this. We would have killed for this last year. We would have killed for this 15 years ago. We would have killed for this 20 years ago. We would have killed for this moment, and the spotlight is on us. People are watching Detroit, so Make a lot of noise. Make them live up to the hype that everyone's creating for this city right now. And most importantly, go fucking Lions. Forward down the fucking field. Go Lions. All grit. Whatever the youth in it. Whatever cliches they have. Enjoy it. Go Lions.
Go Lions. Forward down the field. Everybody, I hope you have a great weekend. Go Lions. Go Packers. Don't forget about the Packers. We want the Packers.
We want the Packers to win.
Go Lions. Go Packers. Have a fantastic weekend. You guys will hear from us all on Tuesday. And remember,
Monday.
Tuesday. We're going to do Tuesday, Thursday. Make sure, if most of you are probably already following us on Instagram, but check us out on TikTok too, at TipBalls, Twitter, at TipBalls. And if you like to listen to us in the car, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts. And then subscribe if you're already on our YouTube page, if you haven't yet, and ring the bell so you know when we go live. I would like to thank everybody for participating in the giveaway, and thank you guys all for watching today. Have a great weekend. Go Lions.